Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to connect some pretty big dots. We're talking about a massive warning from Google, a political earthquake in DC, and the financial squeeze hitting so many of us. So yeah, let's dive right in.
Okay, first up, a message you really need to hear. It's about as blunt as it gets. And honestly, if you're online, and who isn't, this one's for you. So what's this all about? Well, it's our first big story, that urgent warning. Google has just sounded the alarm, a full-on emergency security alert for Chrome. And trust me, you're going to want to pay attention to this.
So why is this such a huge deal? Well, think about this number. We're talking billions of people. The alert is for every single person using Chrome, which for most of us is our main window to the entire internet. That is a massive, massive target for attackers.
Okay, so the technical term here is a high-severity vulnerability. But what does that actually mean? It's not just some little glitch. We're talking about a serious flaw, a backdoor that could let attackers just walk in and steal your sensitive info, or even worse, completely take over your computer. And you know what's kind of wild? The thing that found this threat was Google's own AI. So you've got this advanced tech fighting to keep us safe from these new digital dangers. Pretty cool.
All right, so from secrets hidden in code, we're going to pivot to secrets out in the open, or, whispered between world leaders. Let's head over to the world of politics, starting in Washington, D.C.
You know those moments you're not supposed to hear? This is one of them. A hot mic caught President Trump talking to the French President Macron about a potential peace deal coming from Vladimir Putin. And get this, he even admits the whole idea sounds crazy. Wow. I mean, that's a rare, totally unfiltered look at how things really go down at that level.
And that's not the only thing stirring things up in Washington. There's another huge power play going on. The Trump administration just took the security clearances away from 37 government officials. 37.
So you're probably asking, who are these 37 people? Well, it's a mix of folks. Some are currently in national security, some are former officials. The announcement came from the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard, and here's the kicker. The list seems to specifically target analysts who were deep in the weeds of reviewing Russian interference in the 2016 election.
Okay, let's hop across the world because this theme of power plays is global. In China, an anti-corruption probe just went into overdrive. And why? Because investigators found an absolutely mind-boggling amount of cash. We're talking around 30 million pounds, just sitting in the home of a retired regulator. Unbelievable.
And this is where it gets really interesting when you put them side by side. You've got two very different ways of consolidating power, right? In the US, it's this public move, revoking security clearances, targeting the intelligence community. In China, it's a party purge, but it's framed as this anti-corruption crackdown. See what's happening? Both are about tightening the reins on power, just using the tools of their own very, very different systems.
But it's not just about political power creating tension. We're also seeing some very real, very direct threats to public safety today. We're talking everything from calculated human violence to the incredible raw power of Mother Nature. This next story is just shocking. Over in India, Delhi's Chief Minister Rekha Gupta was physically attacked, and it was serious. She suffered injuries to her head, her shoulders, and her hands.
And here's the really chilling part. The authorities are saying this wasn't random. Not at all. They believe this was a planned, premeditated attack on a public figure. And they're even calling it life-threatening. Just a whole other level of alarming.
Meanwhile, there's a completely different kind of threat brewing off the U.S. East Coast. Hurricane Erin has spun up into a powerful Category 2 storm. Now, the good news, if there is any, is that it's not expected to hit land directly. But, and this is a big but, it's still incredibly dangerous. It's already kicking up coastal flooding and nasty rip currents, and folks are having to take emergency measures.
All right, for our last section, let's bring it all home. Let's look at how all these big, sweeping forces, the politics, the economics, are actually trickling down and hitting everyday people, right in the wallet.
Yeah, this really paints a picture of the pressure cooker at the local level. Look at Chicago. Hundreds of Target employees just lost their jobs over this alleged million-dollar fraud involving a system glitch. Then you hop over to New York City, where subway riders are being told they have to pay more, a 10-cent hike for a service that many feel is just falling apart. And then out in Washington state, you've got this political standoff, where the state is pushing back against federal pressure on its sanctuary policies, and that has real, on-the-ground consequences for people there.
So, let's zoom out. What's the common thread through all this? What do we see today? First, it's that power is absolutely in flux. It's shifting, it's being challenged. We saw it being asserted in a really bold way in Washington with those revoked clearances, and we saw it being consolidated over in China through that party purge. The second big theme?
Security is under threat. And I mean all kinds of security. Our digital security, with that Chrome bug that affects practically everyone, and our physical security, when you see a political leader getting attacked like that. It just makes everything feel a little more fragile, you know?
And last but not least, we saw how wallets are getting lighter. It's that constant, relentless economic pressure. People losing their jobs because of a computer glitch, being asked to pay more for basic things like getting to work. It's that slow, steady squeeze that's just a part of daily life for so many people right now.
You know, when you lay it all out like that, you really see how interconnected everything is. A security flaw in California, a political move in DC, a fare hike in New York, none of these things happen in a bubble. They all send ripples out into the world. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. In this crazy web of connected crises, which one of these headlines do you think will be echoing the longest?